Hello, and welcome to DecentraWise Podcast. My name is Pedro.
And I'm Miguel, and you just joined us in our mission to decentralize the world wisely.
Wisely is the most important part of this podcast's name. And that is very important, and it's very wise that you click the like button and subscribe to the channel, because we love being almost 500 subscribers strong, and it's a good thing that you follow us and learn with us every week about Web3
I thought you
development.
were going to say that it's a good thing that we reach a lot of people and we have a lot of likes and subscribers.
Of course,
But yeah, but today we are going to talk about airdrop. So guys, grab a drink, sit back and relax because we're about to get
I
nerdy,
have
guys.
my drink. It's coffee, as always.
Yeah, you are coffee addicted.
So, yeah,
I'm also coffee addicted, but I already drank mine, so I'm
I
good.
am from those ages where software developers or programmers, as we were known back then, were machines that transformed coffee into lines of code.
Yeah, yeah, that is correct, and it still is. We are
And
still
so
on those times, and
I
yeah,
don't
people.
know. I continue, but
Yeah,
times change. I don't
yeah,
know.
it is what it is. People just get coffee addicted. Who cares?
Um, so yeah, this is life. This is life. Anyway,
Don't get sad. Coffee starts to taste good with time.
nah. Coffee is very good. Always, always
Yeah,
very
it
good.
is.
Anyway, we are talking about um, airdrops. And for those who don't know what this strange word means,
Yeah, I was
uh,
going to ask you that because I don't know what the hell that is. An airdrop,
of course you
something that
know.
drops from the air.
Of course you know. Tell me what you think airdrops are.
It's something when you look up, and you see a seagull, and the seagull drops something out of the air.
No, those are not air. Those drop, but they are not air.
Yeah, but they drop from the air.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so yeah, okay, let's try to explain it. It's when you want to distribute your token as best as you can, and you allow people to sign in and request for your token. And then when you are ready for it, you start distributing it. And so that is called an airdrop. Was it a good explanation?
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
So, uh, back in the days, around 2016, 2017, it was common to sell tokens, right? And it was the ICO craze. Everyone uh, that was able to write a few paragraphs of text was writing white papers, and those white papers were worth millions for people to buy tokens that didn't
Yeah, sometimes not even a project, right?
didn't make
Sometimes
a
the
thing.
white papers were
So
really sad.
those were those were good times for
Yeah, for the
some,
ones that took
but
advantage of it. Yeah.
terrible times for many. And yeah, that was a problem, because the people were thinking that they were becoming millionaires by just adding buying a few tokens and so on. And people in 2017 there was a very big bull run, and people just got really enthusiastic about that
Yeah,
mission of becoming
yeah, I was looking
millionaires.
for the enthusiastic.
And yeah, it was a time where a lot of poor people were made uh, from middle class and even rich. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, people got really, like you were saying, very enthusiastic. So it was a time where a lot of projects were popping up, and since people didn't quite know, well, they don't know anything about project management most of the time, so they were seeing projects with a really good headline, and they thought it was a good project because it seemed promising. But most of the time, they were not good projects. They were not very. It was not very clear about the path they were taking, and most of the projects just failed, like most of the companies do fail. And guys, that's the weird reality. And but people thought, since this is blockchain, is going to make me rich. So that's the enthusiastic part. But most of the times it did fail.
yeah. Uh, so that was a period in history where we would launch a token. And by we, I never did that because I thought from the beginning that it was wrong. Um,
Well,
but
it's not wrong to launch a token. It's wrong to launch a token without a clear view on what's going to happen afterwards.
yeah,
Because, like
and
I was saying, it's not easy to create a company that is good, and it's even harder a company that it's going to work and it's going to have a
the
future,
problem is
right?
those things
And
are
it's even
regulated.
harder doing it in blockchain. So yeah,
Those things are regulated for a reason, right?
yeah,
It's not that I really agree with most of the shit that the SEC does in the United States or the commissions on any country, but there is a reason for that to exist in the first place
yeah.
because
There was an excuse for that.
businesses that are not regulated exploit people all the
Yeah.
time. So that's the reason.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
it's an invitation for bad actors, right? Because they have
yeah.
a playing field to work with, right? So if
So
they
so
are
the,
bad actors, if they have a fertile soil to grow,
what
they
we
will grow.
what we thought back in 2017 was I'm not going to do a project selling tokens, and I had the perfect opportunity for that. I didn't do it, although I had thousands and thousands of users, and it would be very easy for me to sell a discount token,
Yeah,
and I would make a fortune. I didn't do it because exactly I thought this will not be a good idea. They will get us. They will fight back to avoid this IPO style without the IPO and the
yeah,
taxes, right?
yeah,
So that was clear to me because I've come from an economic background, and I, that would be a mess. So I didn't do it. But many people did it, and many people made fortunes, and they were able to escape because there was so many projects that they just fell under the radar. Uh, let's think that forever, but you never know. Things just fight back from time to time. So that is the reality. Back then, it was possible to sell tokens. Not anymore. If you don't have a project running and people using it, you can launch how many tokens you want. They won't sell. Period. Right? Unless you have a very strong project, right? And that's
Well,
obvious.
people realize that they don't know it, right? And it's
They
risky.
don't
It's
realize.
very risky.
They just shifted from tokens to NFTs, and now they will shift from NFTs to real world assets because they are real world. Who can miss that? Uh, and yeah, people will do people shit all the time.
Yeah.
They just change subject because they get rusted in one. They go to get rusted in the second one. That's what happens. And that's
Yeah.
why
Well, that's how
matters.
money flows, right?
That's why regulation matters at the end of the day,
Yeah.
because people do people shit. That's yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need to realize that this is a complex matter. Investing is complex. It's not easy, and if you want to be a good investor, it requires a lot of work. And if you, on top of that, if you need to know the technology that is behind it, like we are talking about blockchain and NFTs, whatever, you need to know what you're dealing with. So it is very complex. This is a complex world, and that's why the regulation comes in, because not every investor uh, is going to study what they're investing on, and it's kind of required that you are a good actor in the end of the day, because
Yeah.
people are investing in you, and there needs to be some good faith when people are
And
putting the money
that
on
was one of
some company.
the motivations that we had to start this podcast, to spread the word about what things are, even for developers, and to explain to developers why uh, it matters what you think about stuff. It's not just do dumb shit and make money. Uh, it's doing proper stuff. Anyone in this area can make money. Fuck it. Let's do the right shit,
Yep.
right? It's not that we need to do some shit to make money. Uh, let's do the right thing, because we are in the middle of a revolutionary process here. If you didn't get it yet, we are creating a new financial system for everybody.
Yep.
If we
And it's
start
popping
doing,
up for sure,
yeah, if we
because
start
everything
doing,
is going to be crypto in no time.
if we start doing bad things as developers, people will lose faith. And to have bad actors ruining their lives, they are already used to that. They don't need another system, right?
Yeah.
So let's do better. And that was the reason for this podcast, to alert developers of their responsibility in this process, and our responsibility. We have responsibility here, right? And a very big one. It's not to do just proper code. It's to deny working in projects that are rug pulls, or that are scammy, or not don't do ourselves scams as well, because they are popping up everywhere. If uh, uh, people with able to write two sentences in Python or whatever are doing scams.
Yeah.
So they don't need us. We developers, we should do proper stuff. And yeah, but we can make money. We can make millions anyway. So why not do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
So back then was
Airdrops. Yeah, let's talk about
selling,
airdrops.
and then we started the meme craze, and meme coins were popping left and right, and the first ones were able to sell some coins, but then it would be very, very hard. So they started to do airdrops. And it is actually a very fun stuff to do because um, you launch a coin, you don't rug pull anyone because you are not getting any money, right?
Yeah.
Anyone gets the coins they wish they had because uh, or they deserve sometimes due to some kind of metrics, and then everybody is happy. And if and this brought another aspect to this token mechanics, which is the importance of the economic model around tokens, right?
Mhm.
Because if you sell a token, maybe now people care about tokenomics, but back then
That was not even
it didn't
tokenomics at
matter,
all.
right?
It was just a white paper which
Yeah.
barely detailed what was going on, and that was it.
So the problem for it, what matters to make a token uh, sustainable is to have uh, a good economic model, right? The token needs to be um, to have some kind of use case, right?
Yeah, well, it has to
It
be useful
doesn't
for something, right?
it
It's not.
doesn't need to be useful. It has to have a use case. The use case can be collectible. Uh, we have a large enough community that wants to collect those tokens.
Yeah, no.
Use
When I'm saying that it has to be that it has to be useful for something. It's
Yeah,
like that. I don't mean that it has to be useful in people's lives. What I mean is that it has to have a use,
yeah,
right? You need to use it for something. It's not like just create. Well, let's create a currency. Well, we did that. It's pointless, right?
mhm,
Without an economic system.
yeah. So the thing is, airdrops are a very fun way to distribute your tokens to the community that you have. Don't forget, if you don't have a community, what's the point of creating a token? Nobody knows about it, and nobody will ever know about it, right? So
Yeah.
the most important thing is to have a community and to make it so that people are interested in the token, right? For whatever reason, can be a meme, can be uh, speculative, because most of these tokens are speculative in a large sense,
Yeah.
right? But if you give the token a use case, whatever it is, uh, then magic happens. Then uh, the possibility of speculation goes beyond.
Well, that is a motive for speculation,
Yeah,
right?
and there is a use case for it, and the people buy the token because they have to do
Yeah.
some shit, and then others buy because they see others buying and they want to make money,
Yeah.
and
Well.
that's the point of it. And then that roller coaster starts happening, and then you get Dogecoin or something like that, which goes like parabolic, and then boom,
And then
go
it crashes
down,
like hell,
and
and
then
then poof.
parabolic. This, but that's natural. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
But you have to have a use case, right?
yeah. Well,
If you don't have a use
Dogecoin,
case,
does Dogecoin
maybe your
have
community
a
will
use case?
find one if you get
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
the meme coins are like that, right?
yeah,
They don't have a real use case.
but they have community.
Yeah, they have a community, and they just find a way to make it
Yeah, they
valuable
find it
somehow.
fun. They find it fun to
Yeah,
play with it, and yeah,
yeah. Well, they
and
play with the guarantee that the token will value someday. So
because
it's up to them. It's up to the community to make the token valuable.
if there is a community, the token will become valuable
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
Yeah, but
sure.
the how much it will become valuable, it depends on the community and how good the community is.
Yeah, and how strong they keep the community around the token, right?
Yeah,
So that's the use case. That's the interesting part of the economic model that we should design for projects, right?
yeah,
And so, how do we do an airdrop? Uh, there is a naive way of doing it, which is a smart contract that has a list of addresses, and or even the token contract. I saw many airdrops back in the days that done like that. Uh, they had a website where people were registering for some time to get the airdrop, and then they get the list, and that list is validated, and then when they launch the token contract has a list and sends the tokens to people.
yeah.
That is
That seems to be the
nice
easiest way.
if you have 1 or 200 accounts, right? Back in the day, it was very hard to have more than that. So crypto was very small. Uh, Not anymore, right? If
Yeah,
you have a couple of thousands or a couple of million accounts, go figure how many gazillion dollars you have to pay, even in a layer two, to deploy that contract.
yeah. Well, it helps to be a layer two, right? But
So
if you are doing it on Ethereum, you are fucked.
you ruin your project before starting.
Yeah, yeah,
So that is impossible, and it's not a good way to do things anyway. Uh, then some guys thought about, well, let's do it the other way around. Back in 2018 or something, where fees were very high, they started doing the other way around, claimables, right? So you have a contract, and instead of sending the tokens to everyone and paying the fees, you are telling the people, well, if you want the tokens that you are entitled to, you claim them. At the beginning, it was people were skeptical about this model and so on, but then they realized, yeah, if they are getting something for free, why not pay a
yeah,
little bit of gas? Makes
yeah,
sense, right? So this became the norm. So people claim their own tokens, and that's it. The developer doesn't have to pay the gas for everyone. And it makes a lot of sense, right? So the developer has to have the list of accounts still, because if you develop a contract that allows anyone to claim, and that's possible, it's a possibility, but then uh, you will give the opportunity for bad actors that know how to write some scripting to ruin your project, right? Because it's not very hard. Accounts are free in
Yeah.
Ethereum,
And you can just have
and
any amount of accounts.
even if
You
you
can
had to
generate it
pay,
just like this.
even if you had to pay for an account, we had that in the past in many networks. People just like to do sibling attacks. They create a bunch of accounts, and the more accounts they have, the more shit they do, and that's it. And there are people interested in making all the bad shit. Don't think nobody will do it. No, they will,
No,
believe me.
there's always
Uh,
somebody.
yeah, and as long as there is an incentive to get something, you will get people doing bad shit. So that's why it's very important to have the contract validating that the user is allowed, right? So,
Mhm.
and having a contract with a list of millions of accounts is not a good idea, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a couple of thousand, not a bad thing, not as bad as having the accounts and sending the tokens, right? Um, but it's still a very high cost. And if you have millions, forget it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. So uh, a third option became the norm, and that is people are have to go to a website, and that website has a backend with your that is running somewhere and signing transactions with your private key, with the deployment or with the distribution private key, any private key that you want. And so users go to a website, connect their account, say, I am Pedro, and they tell you, oh, put your phone number here or your Telegram account or whatever. And you put, and the website validates that information, sends an SMS or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be
uh,
something that identifies you, and it's
or an
you only
email,
have one.
and you get that validation, Web 2 style, right? And then you go, the backend signs a message that is sent to the contract uh, with the claim of the user. And the user pays the gas and receives the tokens because the contract has the public key and he knows how to validate that message signature, uh, and knows that it's signed by you, so it should be okay, right? So this is the best of both worlds. The last option. It's we are not going to implement it here, but that is what makes sense
I mean,
nowadays.
I've seen something else also lately because I don't see airdrops like that anymore. What I see is airdrops that you have to pay for them, and you get the tokens in a discount. So that
Those
also leverages the things, right? You have to pay for it, so you are not going to mess it up.
those are not airdrops. Those are
No, I
token
know,
sale.
but they still, yeah, they still call it airdrops, and but the airdrops nowadays that I see nowadays are like that. You have to pay for those, so you just get it. You get the tokens in a discount. But it also fixes the problem that you are not going to just like create a bunch of wallets and spend a lot of money there.
Yeah. And speaking
And
of
it
airdrops,
also solves the problem that you can even pay for gas, right? Because people are funding you directly, and okay, yeah, you can
yeah,
even pay the gas fees for that. So
And then you have the new wave of airdrops that comes from Telegram, uh, which is becoming a huge thing, a huge thing nowadays, which is uh, having to play a game, whatever the game is,
Oh, we need to make an episode about that because that's
to
really fun.
to make to create your opportunity
Yeah,
to
that's really clever.
receive the airdrop.
Yeah,
And guys, this is crazy.
yeah, and it's really
Uh,
clever. Yeah,
there is a project on Telegram that maybe we should talk about that next episode. Uh, there is a project on Telegram. Telegram has 900 million users monthly. Can you imagine that shit?
yeah,
Right? It's
it's
not
crazy.
Facebook has more, but uh, and Instagram, but guys, 900 million active users is crazy. It's not near. It's not in the realm of crypto, right? There's nothing in that dimension anywhere.
Yeah,
Um, and they just integrated a wallet on Telegram on the Ton network. And Telegram has mini apps, and mini apps can be games, and they gamify all the process of uh, uh, creating the access to the tokens, and then you claim them to your wallet inside Telegram. This last uh, huge airdrop that the first one was very successful. It was Notcoin, and it reached like 10 million users during the airdrop. This one surpassed 200 million users last week. Maybe today it's already 300 or 400. It's crazy. It's the biggest airdrop in history in crypto, hands down. This is amazing for mass adoption, guys. This is what the real people, the real normal people that don't give a shit about crypto, they don't need to even know what crypto is.
yeah, and it's crazy how easy they made it. It's painless
The
to use.
integration is uh, amazing. You don't have to know what the key is. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But guys, let's talk about that in the next episode.
yeah, we need to make a full episode on that.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. So, doing an airdrop. Should we do a token airdrop contract?
I don't think we have time for that. It's
We don't
going to
have.
be, yeah,
Okay, so no problem. We can talk about how to do it.
yeah. It's easy to do
So
it. Maybe we can code it in another session, but yeah,
yeah, it's
because it
actually
will
not
take
a big
time.
deal. It's actually not a big deal. It would be more interesting to do uh, the airdrop validating signatures and so on, but that requires a front end and all that, and
Yeah,
it's impossible to do here. To do the regular way, the regular claimable way, it's very easy. The contract has a list of addresses, a mapping of address to number of tokens, or address to
mhm,
the amount to a boolean that says you already that you can claim or not, and that's it. There's a claim function where people go and call the function and they get the tokens back. Easy, right?
Yeah, but you need to code the transfer. So yeah, it's
What?
just like that. So you need to check if the mapping is still set to false. If it's set to false, you have
No,
to
set to
make
false. No, set to true.
no, you need to
If
set it
it,
to false first. Well, you don't need to set it; it doesn't exist. So you are when you are going to the mapping, it's set to 0. When you are addressing in the mapping, it's set to 0. So if it's set to 0, it's not done yet. So you after that you make the transfer and you set it to true.
no, it has to be the other way around. Because that is vulnerable to a sibling attack.
Okay, please explain.
You cannot send you cannot accept anyone to claim tokens. You need to accept a list of people to claim the tokens.
You want whitelist them, yeah, right.
Yeah. So uh,
Then yeah,
if you
then you need to set it to true and then
yeah,
remove it
it's set
from.
it's set to true in the constructor somehow, and
Well, not set to true in the constructor because if you are whitelisting, the user needs to register somehow. So when the user registers, it has to call a function to put it
no,
to put their address in the whitelist.
no, that doesn't work either, because people will just make registrations as they please. If someone wants pay cents for a transaction and has the possibility to make hundreds or thousands,
Mm.
they will do it. So they want to probably do it on Ethereum, but yeah, that will have uh, a
But
problem. That will be a problem in other networks, right?
yeah, but you can map it instead of the address. You can map it by the Telegram ID, for instance, something like that.
But the Telegram ID is not verifiable in the smart contract. The problem is that, right? So we
No,
need
yeah, well, that is correct. But not you don't have anything that can be verifiable.
sorry,
You don't have anything that can be verifiable.
the
So
address.
even if it's an email, well, the addresses are not verifiable. You don't
No,
have what they are valid, but they are not verifiable.
they are verifiable that you are who you say you are, because you have to sign the transaction, right? And if we decide we will get to these 1,000 people, for instance, right?
Yeah, but
That's
no,
it.
but the thing is, you need to say who are the 1,000 people, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to get. How do you say that it's that 1,000 people, and how do you verify the unicity of those guys?
In the web 2 way somehow,
Yeah, so,
right?
so you need to validate either the Telegram ID, the email, something that
Usually that
that
kind
is
of
verifiable.
airdrops are not that way. They just have some kind of registration for people to start learning about the project and so on, and they keep those wallet addresses in some list, and then they announce the airdrop, and they announce the wallets that had interactions with the project or
Yeah,
something like
okay,
that.
so
So
you're what you're saying is that okay, so we have a database with some addresses, and then in the constructor of the contract, we just pass those addresses, and that's it.
yeah,
Yep,
or they are hard coded in the contract directly,
or that, yeah,
or you have a minter contract with those addresses hard coded that is outside of the token contract, and
yeah. Well, hard coded
that minter contract
kind
has
of sucks.
special privileges to mint tokens in the other
Hmm.
contract. Um, there are many ways to implement this. That's why we have in Open Zeppelin the minter capability of ERC20 tokens,
Mhm.
right? So, or the mintable and the roles, minter role and admin role and this and that, right?
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, this is the thing. We can do implement the things in various ways, but generically, you have to have a list of addresses, and that list of
Mhm.
addresses need to be generated somehow, Web 2 way or Web 3 way. And Web 3 way
Yeah.
is another way uh, that some projects, for instance, Layer Zero has an airdrop ongoing right now, and they have a list of, or they created a list from usage of their products and or of several products in the Web3 world, like for usage of exchanges, usage of lending platforms, and this and that. So they went to the blockchain itself. They produced a list of addresses from the addresses that are active in the networks that they support. This is very clever, right?
Yeah.
So if they are active and doing shit in the blockchain, they are probably people. Not they can be bots,
Well,
but
they can.
should have a way to verify that on chain. It's not very hard to understand the
Yeah,
result.
well, we've been talking sometimes about having a Web3 ID, right? And sometimes we talk about it, and
Hmm.
I think that's a good use case for that. We have ways to verify your identity, kind of, at least, and to some extent, by via an email, a phone number. Yeah, you can kind of delimitate that you are a single person, uh, at least that, but not on Web3. So you just have wallets, and even though you have different addresses in different blockchains, and it's a mess to go with that. So yeah, an identity would be a good use case for this.
It will for sure come. I just hope that it will come from the community and it
Yeah, well,
will not
hopefully
come
it would
from
be, but I
governments.
doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it,
Yeah,
honestly.
or we will have both uh, the government ID and other
No,
communities'
you will
ID.
have government IDs for sure, but
Yes, but
we need Web
I hope
three.
that it's not the only one.
Yeah, yeah, we need community identification and not government.
Yeah, because governments suck.
Yeah,
I hope that we not get banned from YouTube by saying this.
government
You never
suck.
know. You never know. They are watching us.
But yeah, but if you are the government, press like and subscribe. We are good people.
Yeah, governments should subscribe to our channel and should
Yeah, yeah,
sponsor us, or at least try to
of course.
sponsor us, because I won't accept it anyway. But they should
Why not?
try. No,
No,
I won't.
let people spot. Come on, it's a free
No,
market. Let people
I don't
sponsor
like
us. Come on.
governments,
Well, I mean,
and I
that's
only accept sponsorships for our people I like, or companies or projects I like. So we have a problem there.
yeah. Well, maybe it's a good government.
As long as I would really strive to take some money from the government, that is against my principles. So I have a problem. I have a conflict of interests there.
Yeah.
with myself.
Yeah, well. Well,
Anyway.
guys, good luck. Good luck, governments, on trying to sponsor this. Then,
Yeah, you can spoil us and try to convince us to accept, but we won't. Sorry.
yeah, you can begin by pressing the like button.
Yeah,
It's fine. And
press it twice so that we don't need to ban you from the chat. Anyway, guys, hope you got some information about airdrops and the history of them and how to implement stuff. We didn't have time to implement it here as we planned, but if you guys want us to do this really badly, send it in the comments, ping us in our social medias.
yeah, we are
have
always around, guys. We are nice people. We
connect
enjoy
to our
talking to you
Telegram,
guys.
say hi, and say you want this and that, and we will do it probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it, guys. Airdrops are nice. We recommend them for your projects. Make them fun, make them fair, and yeah, the sky can be the limit because you start from layer 0, right? So you cannot go beyond. Tokens cannot have negative prices, right? So
Yeah, well, they didn't
if they start
invent
from
that.
0, the only way is up, right?
Yeah.
So no problem. And
Yeah, I
thank
hope you
you.
guys enjoyed it.
Thank you
And that's it.
for joining us in our mission to decentralize the world
Wisely.
wisely. And we'll see you in the next episode, guys. Cheers.
In the next one.
Bye bye.